What is a fallacy? Can you tell me what a fallacy is? What's up, Papa?
How's it going? So I was going to ask, for some of the debate, but I just want to confirm, because when you turned me over to this being a speaker, there's like a slight interruption. Did you just say that there's no absolute truth? I don't want to bid on that. I just want to make sure that's what you said.
No, of course I didn't say that.
Okay, I just didn't hear, so I wasn't sure. Just wanted to confirm.
I'm explaining what happened in my debate, and I'm saying that the word relativism and the word subjectivism can refer to the same principles.
No, that's fine. I heard that part. I just didn't hear that. I mean, you said absolute truth, and I didn't hear what you said after that. So, okay. So your followers or other people on Twitter, of course, using Galatians 1:8. So, yeah, that's why I'm coming in at, because they said I should talk. Galatians 1:8
about
talks
what?
About.
I know what Galatians 1:8 is about. What are you here to debate?
Galatians 1:8. So
for what purpose? What are you arguing?
Well, okay. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, and people use that all the time against our religion.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
So people always use Galatians 1:8 without actually noting that there's other verses in the exact same chapter. But so I'm just curious why people use only that verse. Do they ignore the rest of the chapter? I mean, why do they not read the whole entire chapter?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that would disprove Mormonism. I mean, it's not just that chapter. I mean, that's just a chapter about warning about a different gospel. I think one of the strongest arguments is Joseph Smith writing himself into Genesis 50.
Okay.
Well, you're giggling. What's funny about that?
Where did he do that at?
Genesis 50 in the Joseph Smith translation.
Oh, okay, the Joseph Smith translation. So you have a problem with his translation of the Bible. Got it. Okay. So what makes his translation...
Do you not?
I have no problem with his translation of the Bible, because I believe he's a prophet.
And so he retroactively writes himself into Genesis 50. You think that's what prophets do?
Let's think here. Who wrote the first 4 books of the Bible?
The first 5 books? You mean Moses?
Yeah. So it's wrong when it's right when Moses writes himself into the Bible, but when Joseph,
Moses is a prophet writing it. Joseph Smith is writing himself in retroactively thousands of years later.
Yeah, because of bad translations.
So how come?
Mock my study? That's fine. Go ahead.
So no one before Joseph Smith had a Bible that had Joseph Smith in Genesis 50. And he adds himself to Genesis 50 to make himself predicted, and you don't find that a problem?
It's not.
How is that? How is that not the actions of? How is that not the actions of a con man?
Well, you might want to look up the word con man, because he didn't con anyone. But
he retroactively added himself to the last chapter of Genesis.
You said.
Why are you interrupting me?
You interrupted me. Why can't I interrupt you? Go ahead.
He retroactively adds himself to a chapter which never had any mention of Joseph Smith for thousands of years prior. Moses is the author because Moses is a prophet. Joseph Smith, thousands of years later, retroactively adds himself to Genesis 50, which is a con man action, clearly.
Okay. So you just said again, you repeated again, that he is not in any other Bible that's ever existed for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed that you've read every other Bible that's existed for thousands of years. That's very impressive.
Can you cite a version of the Bible that has Joseph Smith in it prior to Joseph Smith in Genesis 50?
I don't really care.
Okay, thank you. So I'm glad that you're here to admit that.
It blows my mind that you can't actually see writing yourself in as if it were the original.
No, but you don't understand, Father Deacon. You don't understand. I've had this discussion with countless Mormons. They actually believe that is what a prophet does. I'm not kidding. They think that to be a prophet means that you change the old text and put yourself into it. I kid you not. I've had 5 of them argue.
One thing I wanted to talk about with Mormonism too is that there's literally no epistemic standard to anything. So that means, by their own standard, you and I can go in to the pearl of great price and be like, well, actually, that's us. We're actually prophets.
Exactly.
So if you accept that standard, I can write myself in because I'm a prophet. How do I know? Because I wrote myself into, and it's that.
No, that's exactly what they will actually argue that. They will say, and when you ask them, well, why does Joseph Smith get the right to alter Genesis 15 and add himself there? Well, because he's a prophet. Well, how do we know that he's a prophet? Well, he's predicted in Genesis 50 where he wrote himself in.